Mail call. FastCap has 900 different tools and products, and they keep sending me stuff that I already buy and already know. I was expecting this to be like a game show where I opened it up and I had to figure it out. 2P10. This is thick. They've got thin, medium, thick, and gel. I use the gel almost exclusively, but I like to have the little bottles of the other thicknesses, particularly the thin. When I get a little, splinter out on a nice piece of trim, the thin is easy to get in, and then spray the activator on and get that where the gel would kind of thicken up. There are so many uses for this. I'll tell you just a couple that I use. As the name implies, this is a 2-part 10-second glue. So you put the glue on, you spray on the activator, and in 10 seconds it cures up. Now there's other products out there that are 2-part glues that are more consumer rated. This is an industrial rated product, and that has to do with they're distilled, so they will hold up longer on shelf life. I think the shelf life on this stuff, even after you open it up, as long as you put the top back on, is 2 years. Really good stuff for professionals. It's hard, it's not flexible when it cures. So its best application is not in a situation where there's going to be a lot of movement if you're attaching two pieces of material wood together that are on different surfaces, and those surfaces are going to move a bit. This can break apart, but it is very strong. One of the things that I'll do is I like wood glue. It holds really well and it's flexible. The problem though is that you have to glue it up and hold it in place with a clamp or with nails. I've combined the two, and what I'll do is I'll do my standard glue up. And when I glue, I don't mind if glue runs out. I would glue these up, and normally I'd be doing long pieces up on a corner. I always glue outside miters. Inside miters are copes, so they don't get any glue. But I always glue outside miters, whether it's crown, whether it's chair rail, whether it's base. The outside miters get glued together. So I would glue, have these coming up, and I'd fit the other piece in and I'd fit them together. And with this stuff, I use it as like a clamp. So what I'll do is take typically the gel, and again, this is the thick here. The gel is nice because you put it on and it stays, it does not run. I'll put a couple of dots on the back edge. What squeezes out is going to squeeze out on the back. And then I'll put the activator on the other side, and I could spray the whole edge, but I see it's about in the middle there, so I'll put a little there, little on the edge, little up there. So after the glue is on one side and the activator's on the other, you don't have to hurry up to fit it together. In fact, it doesn't hurt to let the propellant sort of evaporate. And now I will put it together, and once they touch, I got about 4 seconds to fit the joint, and then I'll just hold it together, and then it takes again about 10 seconds for it to set up. So I've used it in this application as a clamp. It's very quick. Put my wood glue on, and then in a couple of hours the wood glue is going to set up and hold and give me that little bit of flexibility. We all know if we work in construction, there's a lot of moisture in construction. The drywall dries up, the framing lumber dries up, and things move. And so as finished carpenters, we want to put our stuff in so that in 6 months we don't have gaps opening up. And so using the right glues and attaching things properly is real important. When I do carpentry, when I'm doing a house, I like to do production. So I measure everything, cut everything, install everything. So if I'm working on windows, I'll do all the window frames. Well, a lot of times one of the details is to have a sill that hangs over and then an apron underneath. And that apron, most of the time, unless it's a flat stock, if it's some kind of detail, I want to take that detail either up under into the bottom of the sill, or I'll want to return it into the wall. The same thing with base molding. If we're running the base molding along a wall and we come, say, to its top of stairs, to a tread, and there's no skirt board, so you don't have anything to take it into, a lot of times I'll want to return that down into the floor or into the wall. So I'll have lots and lots of these little pieces that I need to attach. And what I did in the past was set them up on my bench and do all the cuts, cut all those little pieces, then take my glue them up, and then I would use painter's tape and tape them on. and then set them aside and let it cure up. A little return like this, I'll cut a whole bunch of these and then cut all these to length, and then I'll set up and put wood glue on and tape them and wait. Well, these are going to stay together. They're not going to move independently of each other. So this glue is going to hold just as well as the wood glue for this purpose. I'm going to put on enough glue now to actually hold it, whereas before I just put a couple of dots on. And I'm still holding it back from the front edge because it is not as easy to clean up as wood glue. And typically I'll keep the different sizes of the different thicknesses in the small, but the gel, I get the big bottle because I go through so much of it. And then again, it's sitting there. I'm not in a hurry. Obviously, I am in a hurry when I'm working. I want to move and be quick. You don't have to hurry up and worry about, oh, the glue's setting up, like if you're using like a super glue product, a single part, where you'd have to get right on it. And again, I'm not in a hurry for the activator. I'm not worried about it drying up. The activator won't cure, and it actually doesn't hurt to let it sit a little bit. I could go and put it right on, and most of the time I do, but I'm kind of demonstrating that you don't have to hurry up like the glue's going to set up on you. Once they touch, then I got to be pretty quick. You know, about 4 seconds of movement, and then it's not going anywhere. So the main thing is to line up my trim, and then I will squeeze it together and hold it for just a couple of seconds. And then I'm done with it. I can go on and do the next piece, and that piece isn't going to go anywhere over the long haul. So 6 months, a year, 10 years later, you're going to come back. This piece is still going to be firmly attached, and I'm able to move on. And you can imagine the speed at which I can, you know, once I'm in a rhythm and I've got all of these pieces cut and all the long pieces cut, I can just set up, you know, put a gel on a bunch of ends and spray activator, and then stick, hold, you know, stick, adjust, hold, stick, adjust, hold. And, you know, you start saving 5-10 seconds per corner. You know, it adds up in a day's work. This is just 2 applications that I use in my work as a clamp and as a final glue up product. There are a lot of other things you can do with this. The thick, if you've got a gouge in something, you can use the thick to fill it up and just scrape it to level it off, and then spray the activator on. You can actually mix in colors. You can take like wood shavings and mix it in some of the thick, and then use it and use it as a filler, get it all smoothed out, and then spray on the activator, and it'll heal right up, and then it's sandable. 2P10 is one of those products, one of those tools that I have found lots of uses for in my work, but I also like to keep it at home as well. They have a nice little kit with the different thicknesses in the small bottles, as well as a couple of small bottles of activator that you spritz on. And that's a nice little kit just to stick on the shelf in the garage. For any number of things that break around the house, it's nice to grab and go with that. It works better than super glue. Again, the 2-part thing is really what makes it work so well. Plus, it's, again, an industrial product, so it's not just the consumer grade stuff that you get at the hardware store. My thanks to FastCap for supporting Mail Call. Remember to check in the description of the video down below. There'll be a link to this, as well as there'll be a discount code that you can cut and paste. It is time-stamped, so it's good for about a week. I'll put the date on it in the description down below. If you like Mail Call, be sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Most important, share the video with others. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Have a great day.